Okay, it is time for step 6. Only 2 steps left in the 7 essential steps to Finger Thumb Lead Banjo crash course for the total beginner. Alright, so in this episode we will be learning our final foundational technique for 2-finger thumb lead banjo, and as usual we will be inserting this technique into our arrangement for Pretty Polly. Once again, if you haven't watched the prior steps, I would highly encourage you to do so. And remember that central headquarters for the course is fingerstylebanjo.com/2finger, 2 finger spelled out. Okay, so in the last episode, we covered our first fretting hand technique, which is the hammer-on. And remember that fretting hand techniques are where we're playing a note with our fretting finger, not with our picking finger. And they allow us to play melody notes, in this case melody notes on the offbeats, which is a really handy thing because it allows us to steal back some melody notes that we may have sacrificed, and it also allows us to naturally syncopate things. Okay, so now let me demonstrate the technique for the pull-off. Some people refer to this as a pluck-off to emphasize the idea that really all we're doing here is plucking a string with our fretting finger. Now, most of the time we're doing that from a fretted string. So for example, if I'm fretting the 3rd fret of the 4th string here, and I play it and then pull off, it sounds like this. But here, what I'm doing is I'm not just lifting my finger off, but I'm actually plucking it as I'm doing so. So if I just pulled it off, let's get us a soft sound. If I pluck off, I get a nice clear sound. And in fact, I talked last time about the hammer-on. When you hammer onto a note, the second sound is generally a little bit softer. With a pull-off or a pluck-off, since you're plucking the string just like you're doing when you're plucking it with your picking fingers, you're going to generate a note of equal volume, or you can be. And just like the hammer-on, we can pull off from a string we just played that we're fretting, or we can actually play one string and pluck or pull off another one. So there I'm playing the open second, and then I'm plucking off the open first. Again, as I mentioned before, these alternate string hammer-ons and pull-offs are commonly used in clawhammer banjo, but they come in really handy in 2-finger thumb lead style. So I would encourage you just to practice first, just to get the idea of this motion. Just practice plucking the string. First, try this on the open first string, plucking it with your index finger. And note, no matter where you pluck, you're going to get the same note, right? First try it with your index, then your middle, then ring. And you can try that on the other strings. Get the idea of the motion that you need to make with your finger in order to generate a note. So again, you're just plucking it with your finger, no different than when you're plucking down here with your right hand, only you're just coming at it from the other direction. And then try doing that same thing after plucking a note. Again, if I try 3rd fret of the 4th string and then pull off, sounds like that. I can try 2nd fret of the 3rd string and pull off, 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Again, I'm using my index there. 3rd fret of the 1st string. And again, just practice doing that and seeing if you can get a nice clean sound on that second note. This is probably technique-wise maybe the most challenging one to kind of get to where you're comfortable with it and you can execute it in time. So don't feel bad if it feels awkward at first. I really want you to first make sure you have the idea that you're just plucking a string with your fretting hand. And if you get that and you get that basic motion, you should be good to go. Okay, so let's add in some pull-offs to practice in our song Pretty Polly. So there are only 2 spots in this arrangement where we're going to be playing a full pull-off. The first one occurs in section 2, so section 1 is the same as we've played it before. So section 2, the first measure sounds the same. Our first pull-off comes at the beginning of the second measure here. We've had our finger already on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and we're going to pull off to the open string. So again, So the whole measure sounds like this. Again. Okay, and now we close out. The last two measures sound like this. And then in our third section, we have one pull off in the second measure. So the first measure sounds the same. And our pull off occurs in this second measure, pulling off from the third fret of the third string to the open third with our index. That's the pull off. The whole measure sounds like this. Again. And then we finish it out with... Okay, so now here's what our entire arrangement sounds like with our pull-offs added. Alright, when you are ready, then try practicing that along with the Beats for Banjo backup track, and I will demonstrate here how that should sound. We'll pull up the 70 beats per minute back up. Okay, so practice that exercise to get ready for the next step. And again, the objective is to play that exercise with good timing and clean notes. The speed is not that important. What's important is that you were able to keep time at whatever tempo you choose. And again, if you need to slow it down even further by using the gear icon and adjusting the speed of the video, that is fine as well. All right, that does it for this installment. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below the video, and I will see you in the next one.